popular demand, here is Kat's Camping Kitchen, and I'm going to show you how to make your own camping meals. So quite a few people have requested this video because my mum is lovely and makes me lots of dehydrated camping meals, and people have asked me for the recipe, so I'm going to do a couple of videos on that and probably a few other videos as well, just some good ideas in terms of camping meals that aren't going to break the bank, unlike those sort of pre-packaged ones that you can buy from Go Outdoors that can vary anywhere between 5 and 10 quid for a tiny little meal. It often doesn't taste that good and isn't really filling enough. So if you want to know how to make your own camping meals, stay tuned. So for today's recipe, we're going to do spaghetti bolognese, classic. So the important thing that you want in terms of meat is the 5% or less fat minced meat. Okay, obviously you could do this with veggie meat, I guess, if you wanted to. And I've also got some baby plum tomatoes because they need using, some mushrooms, onion, red pepper and garlic. And then what I'm going to do for the sauce is I've actually got a sachet of flavouring because that's just easier, because what I'm going to show you is prepare your meat, so that goes separately, prepare your vegetables all together, and then in terms of flavouring you can actually add that separately at the end. So by doing it this way you're actually creating the base for several other meals. So you can have spaghetti bolognese, you could have shepherd's pie quite easily, and you could do something like chili con carne, again quite easily. I would say with chili con carne, kidney beans don't rehydrate quite so well. I'm going to try that one with baked beans and let you know how I get on. But yeah, so this is quite a handy technique so that you've got a variety of different meals rather than just cooking all of one kind, but obviously you can do that if you want to. So I'm just going to quickly prep my ingredients, and the key with this as well is making sure that the pieces are really nice and small, because you need to be able to rehydrate it when you're out camping. Obviously you're just going to boil the water and let it sit, so you want nice small pieces. I'd say about sort of 5mm size. That's what I'm going to go for. So I'll do a little bit of prep and then you can see, I'm sure you all know how to cook spaghetti bolognese and prep your ingredients, so I'm not going to teach you, how to cook. I'm showing you how to make some camping meals. I will put the instructions in the comments below, so you can follow it at your own leisure. So here we go. I think that's probably about enough onion. So no hard and fast measurements here. I've got one onion, it's quite a large onion, and I've chopped it up really small. Yeah, that'll be your eat. Some of these bigger bits that I missed. You can go, thank you very much. Alright, that will do nicely. That'll do, pig. Okay. So same again with the mushrooms, pepper, garlic, whatever ingredients you want to put in there. Just bear in mind that the harder the vegetable, like a carrot, the longer it's going to take to rehydrate, the smaller you're going to want to cut it. Okay, so I shall bring you back in a mo when all my ingredients are prepped. Bish bosh bash. Okay, so we'll get cooking with the mince in one pan, the veg in the other pan. And the important thing with cooking dehydrated meals is not to add any oil. because the oil goes rancid, any fats go rancid. That's why you need the 5% mince as well. So if you need to stop it from sticking, then just add a little bit of water, okay? And bring it back in a little bit. I am going to add just a little bit of herbs. So we've got some basil here. Yeah, there we go. Basil! Bit of oregano. And a bit of thyme. We all need more thyme. Come on, there you go. I've also added a little bit of salt and pepper as well. We've got some garlic, onion, peppers and mushrooms just sort of cooking up there. And when these big chunks of mushroom have reduced down, that's when it's all going to be ready. About halfway I'll put in the tomatoes. Okay, this is almost ready now. And make sure you haven't got any big chunks of mince, just make sure it's all broken up. Again, this is about your rehydrating process. And the reason to cook this separately, the meat separately from the vegetables, you will see shortly during the dehydrating process. So here I've got the tomatoes in now, and mushrooms are nice and reducing, moisture's drying up in there as well. So that's nearly done, that'll be ready in about 5 minutes. And there. Well, we've put the mincemeat now onto the baking tray with a silicone sheet underneath it to stop any spillages, and then we're going to put the vegetables on top of that. We've got the vegetables on top, I've got the lid there. I'm just going to pop it on. So it comes on at 70 degrees on my version, that's just about right. And set the time. Put it on for 5 hours to start with, see how that goes. You can, with the minced beef, add some breadcrumbs. Apparently that helps to stop it being so gravelly in texture. I don't happen to have any breadcrumbs at the moment, so I'm just going to go with it as it is. I forgot the pasta, didn't I? That was silly. So I'm going to get the pasta on the go now, get that boiled up whilst I'm cooking my dinner. Now we've got the spaghetti on the go. I did overcook it slightly. I forgot about the spaghetti because I was watching YouTube videos. As you can see, the beef now is almost there. Still some little bits here. Just see the veg starting to dehydrate quite nicely there, starting to get quite dry, but there's still a lot of moisture left in that. So the beef is all nicely dried now, and what we're going to do is we're going to leave it in this Tupperware container for a couple of days with this kitchen towel, just to make sure that there's no moisture left in it, so that it will keep longer. So this is the reason to prepare your meat separately from your vegetables, because you need to make sure that there's no moisture and no fats left in this beef, and that it's okay after a couple of days. Just checking on the vegetables. As you can see, that's getting quite dry now, but there is still a bit of moisture on the underside, so I'm just going to go around and lift that all off the baking sheet just to make sure that that dries. And it's had about 7 hours now, so we're not far off. I'd say another couple of hours and that'll be done. And here we have the spaghetti. So as you can see, that is very much dried. That's had a good, I'd say, 4 hours. The beef also took about 4 hours. The vegetables have taken about 7 hours so far, and they're not done. but this is done. So what I'm going to do to make sure this is easier to package for the camping meals, I'm just going to break this up a little bit so it's in smaller pieces. Like noodles, aren't they? All the pasta is now separated and broken up a little bit. These are the bits that I've removed here, so if you can see where they're really stuck together. Oh, that little bit can go in, but that is not going to rehydrate very well at all where you've got several strands stuck together, so it's best to remove those. So we've got a little pile of wastage, so it does help obviously if you separate the pasta before you dehydrate it. Right, so we're about ready now with the veg. It's nice and crispy. You don't need to get it like absolutely brittle crispy, but you do need to get rid of any kind of moisture, and really kind of what you're aiming for is something that resembles what you might find in a pot noodle pot. That's the way I think of it. So just nice little pieces that are going to easily rehydrate. So the next step is going to be putting this all back together with the sauce mix, and I'm going to rehydrate it for you so that you can see what it turns out like, and I'll give you a taste test. Stay tuned. Okay, so the beef has had a couple of days to rest now. Just give you a little look at that texture. It's all crunchy, crispy, no moisture in there at all, so that's okay. In here we've got the vegetables, so this was tomatoes, peppers, onions and mushrooms. Of course you can use whatever you want, but bear in mind if you've got harder vegetables then they're probably going to take longer to rehydrate, so I've gone with softer ones. Okay, and then we've got the spaghetti. So this has all been separated out into individual strands after it's been cooked. You don't want it stuck together because that's not going to rehydrate very well. And last but not least, we have, this is not cheating, this is a spaghetti bolognese seasoning mix, courtesy of Aldi. Link in the description below, not because you can't do that with Aldi. So just to reiterate, the reason that I'm using these packets rather than cooking it all fresh together is that if you have the seasoning separately, you've then got the base for several other meals. So with this I could make a chili con carne or a shepherd's pie, or maybe you could do something like some sort of fajita type mix or something like that. So yeah, good idea to do it separately. Okay, so I've got the kettle nearly boiled, so I'll just give that a quick whiz just to heat that up. And we're going to put it all in this Mylar bag, so you can get these off the internet. Quite cheap, and they've got a nice sealable strip along the top. Okay, so I'm going to measure out a cup of water, see how that goes. I'm going to put half of each of the beef, vegetables and spaghetti all into this bag. So let's give that a go. No precise measurements here. More than half the beef, but never mind. Better to have too much beef now. A little bit out. There we go. Bit of seasoning mix. So this serves 4. Probably use about half of that, I think. Great kitchen hygiene. You wouldn't get that on BBC, will you? Just open it up with your teeth. Right. Probably a bit more than half again, but I do quite like a lot of flavour. Right, so I'll give you a quick look at what it looks like in the packet. Right, so I'm going to measure out, and just so you can see, that's how small this packs up to. So if you were popping it in your bag, that's the sort of size packet that you would actually get with this. Okay. Ooh. Helps if you don't spill the water everywhere. And I think I'll put another half a cup in. Okay. Just going to give it a stir. Give it a stir. Make sure I get down to those corners. Oh, dry corners, do we? Well, it smells pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to leave that for a little while and keep it nice and warm. So we've got that all nice and wrapped up, tucked to bed. Obviously if you were in the field then you'd probably wrap it up in your sleeping bag or tuck it inside your down jacket, or you can obviously get those like little jackets that you put on the outside of your bags to keep them nice and warm. So I'm going to leave that for about 10-15 minutes and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so we have the finished product. I'll give you a better look, hang on. Okay, so quick taste test. Yeah, that is good. Definitely better with the full packet of sauce mix. Really tasty. It's basically all I did was cook the vegetables separately, no oil, cook the mince separately, again no oil, cook the pasta, and then dehydrated all of it and added a sauce mix powder, and that's it. You know, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and you're welcome, because I've just saved you a load of money on camping meals. Enjoy.